Ladies and gentlemen, I am back. Took a little one-night break, actually. Hopefully, you guys found something else to do on Wednesday night. I needed some sleep. I got fucking like 10 hours of sleep. A little groggy, but feel great. We are 6 hours away from Thursday night football. That is Dolphins and Bills. Bills at Dolphins, that is. Should be kind of a shitty game. This could be Mike McDaniel's last game. Let's hope. See that little nerd get fired. I wonder what he's going to do once he gets fired. Dungeons and Dragons. Maybe I'll have him a guest on the show because I'd love to have him on here. He doesn't know a lot of football, so I don't know how that would work, but he could tell us all about Tyreek Hill's crazy shit he does. Anyways, we're going to get into the game and talk about some bets. Haven't placed my parlay bets on this game yet. Couple singles I like, but there is the news that Jaylen Waddle might miss this game. That shoulder injury he suffered in week 1. He did come back week 1 and played week 2. This is just the Jaylen Waddle experience. If you took him, I'm sorry, because this is just what happens. My son just said he saw me in a magazine. I said, no way. He says, yeah, you have a huge, whoa. That's really crazy, Philly. I'm going to take that off the banner there, but that's awesome. That's cool. Anyways, if you drafted Jaylen Waddle, I don't even know if you want to start him in this game because, okay, let's say he plays. That's cool. Shakir over tonight. I was actually going to get into him as one of my likes. I think it's 40 yards. That's crazy low. Essentially, if the Dolphins are competitive at all in this game, that goes over. So that's kind of a bet on the Dolphins making it competitive and not losing like the Jets lost last week. But in terms of Jaylen Waddle, can you start him? Do you want to start him? Because we don't know if he's playing. If he does play, it's the Jaylen Waddle experience, right? And here's what I think Jaylen Waddle's like. It's like when you go to the zoo and you're expecting to see an animal and you just don't see that animal. It's like hiding in the back. That's Jaylen Waddle. And he might come out for a second. You see him and everyone's like, oh, and then he's gone. So Jaylen Waddle, I don't know, man. Or over on Ray. He's going to get some clock. Yeah, actually what I was looking at earlier was Ray Davis' last touchdown. It's like 22-1. I think I like that one because, you know, that's just banking on the Bills scoring right in the middle of the fourth when they're up by 2 touchdowns. Probably be Ray Davis over James Cook, and then that's the Dolphins not coming down and scoring garbage time. Plus 1,700 for Ray Davis last touchdown. I do like that, though. What his anytime number is only like plus 235, right, Blake? Which isn't terrible. You know, it's not terrible, but and I think James Cook is like minus 175. We got a Ray Davis and Keon Coleman TD parlay. I'm pretty bullish on Shakir with what Blake said earlier. I'm bullish on Shakir in this game. He's had 2 stinkers. I know the game script might not scream, let's start and bet on Shakir, but he's still their best receiver. I think there's a chance that the Dolphins can keep this kind of close. It is Thursday night football. Weird shit happens. Josh Allen, he doesn't throw the ball much when he doesn't need to. They don't throw the ball like the Chargers do. They don't do, up by 21, you're still throwing the ball shit. But oh wow, so Ray Davis is going down for anytime touchdown score. I think he can get the touchdown even if it's not garbage time, right? Like, I think they're gonna, it's a short week. So granted, they almost had a bye week against the Jets last week, but it's a short week. Why would you give James Cook all those extra touches? Professional smelling. Mr. Blake had 2 stinkers. I must say delightful. I'm glad with the following stinks. Wow, this guy likes saying stink, but that's fine. If you haven't been tuning into the show, Joe, we've been making a lot of money on this show, so you could say it's stinker. We're kind of just spitballing some things right now. Ooh, long shot of the century. We got Bills. It would be Bills defense TD, Ray Davis TD, Khalil over. I mean, the Khalil over is not even a long shot. That's 40 yards. I know he's not exactly like a stretch the field kind of guy, but Khalil's gonna get a lot of work. So you're welcome to stay in here, Joe. I mean, if you want to troll the comments and myself, I guess that's fine too. But seems like a waste of time to me. I just have a hard time betting on defensive touchdowns. You know what I mean? Elijah Moore, TD plus 900. Is he the one that got the end around last week? Or was that Curtis Samuel? I get Curtis Samuel and Elijah Moore confused all the time. It was Curtis Samuel that got it, or was it Elijah Moore? I do like the nice smelly shit. This guy likes talking about poop. I mean, I like talking about poop too. It's pretty funny to talk about. Anyway, in the comments, are you starting Waddle? Would you start Waddle if you don't have like a automatic better option if he plays? No, Samuel is still on Buffalo, Blake. They have all the slot receivers there. That's why I was high on Keon Coleman coming into the year, because it was just Josh Palmer and him as X receivers, outside receivers. I think Samuel's been banged up and not active is the thing. We got Jones, Jaden Daniels on my fantasy team. Should I find another quarterback knee injury? You definitely should, because it doesn't seem like he's playing. My thing is I would probably wait, depending on who's available. Right now, everyone's probably already picked up in terms of like the high-end streamers. So what you want to do is probably wait for Daniels to be ruled out, because there is still a chance he plays, but wait for him to get ruled out, put him on IR. That way you don't have to drop a bench player, and then you can snatch whoever, Like Jared Goff's probably gone. There's some decent streams. Trevor Lawrence might be available. I actually don't mind Michael Penix this week. I know his projections are low because Carolina is a run funnel, but Michael Penix to toss 2 touchdowns. What I wouldn't do for a 1-week rental is a Jake Browning, because he has the Vikings. Mac Jones is not a bad option. Either way, you're going to be flipping a coin on who to pick. That's why I'm telling you to wait to pick one up and wait for Daniels to get ruled out, because once Daniels is ruled out, then you can put him in your IR. So, hey, Kobe, how you doing, man? Got offered Hampton for Javonte. You have Javonte. Is Javonte like your third running back? Is Javonte on your bench essentially? Because if you're not relying on Javonte, I kind of like the trade. Again, not exactly the biggest Hampton guy. And I'll tell you why, because we call him the bouncer on this channel.
You know what? I'm not going to take it easy, because this talking dump of a bouncer is starting to get on my nerves. I'm going to have you fired, dickhole.
This week, he's probably losing most of his work to Najee Harris. But if you're not relying on him as a starter, he's my RB3. And you have a flex. Is there a flex in that league and you're starting a receiver? Because if you can ride 3 weeks with him on your bench, I still do like Hampton. It's close, but I still like Hampton season long over Javonte. But it's close. I'm a big Javonte fan. But I mean, this is a great opportunity to sell Javonte and get a guy that was a 3rd-round pick in Hampton. Bryce says, how would you assess Brock Bowers' value at this point if I needed to make a potential trade? I think there's a lot of people that you can – I'll get to your question in a second, Jones. I think there's a lot of people that you can just trade Brock Bowers based on name value and his week 1 production. But if you watch that game, if you hear anything coming out of there, he's playing hurt right now. I mean, he is hurt. He's playing hurt, and he's going to continue to play hurt all year, because if he didn't sit out week 2, right after coming off that knee injury, he's not going to sit out week 3. He's not going to sit out week 4. So you're looking at a diminished player in terms of his athletic ability. You're looking at probably a reduced role in terms of his snap share and a pretty weak offense. So I would 100% want Trey McBride over Brock Bowers. I kind of wanted Trey McBride over Brock Bowers to start the year just because the uncertainty in that offense, and nothing in the Trey McBride situation changed. I would try to trade Brock Bowers right now, or if you want to wait and hopefully he catches a touchdown this week and his stock goes up a bit, maybe you can do that. But if you could do Bowers for McBride right now, I would do that. What up, DB? You got some smart people in your league, though, because I would not be trading for Brock Bowers. So I'll give you an example. Like, I have Tucker Kraft everywhere. I probably still would trade Tucker Kraft for Brock Bowers. Like, I don't care about the injury as much. Like, I'm getting a 2nd-round pick, and I'm getting all that awesome production early year I got from Tucker Kraft. So I would probably do that. But I mean, Bowers' stock is he's 2 rounds depressed from where you drafted him, just based on Geno looking bad, the offense looking broken, Michael Mayer looking good. Michael Mayer playing a lot of snaps. So Jones says, will Pacheco get better? I benched him last week, and rightly so. You have to keep on benching him. I think he will get better. He will go as the offense goes. So once you get Worthy back in a couple weeks of Worthy, we see how he looks. And then week 7, you get Rice back. The nice saving grace thing, and I've been saying this about all the players on that team, right? All the players in the Chiefs, is that they're 0-2 right now. That division is a monster. The AFC is a monster. They're going to have to play to the end and grind to the end and try to put up points at the end. The days of them just like coasting and winning by 1 point, like they can't even risk that anymore. They have to go for it. So I like Pacheco's outlook a little bit more towards the end of the season. Unfortunately, Brashard Smith could come in there and steal some of the passing down work, which Kareem Hunt's already stealing. But you can't play Pacheco this week. I mean, maybe it's Sunday Night Football against the Giants. He pops off a long one. I'm really worried about Pacheco. Like I'm an 8 on Pacheco. Not as worried. I'm more worried about Hampton and those guys just because where you drafted Hampton. I would probably rather. It's like, would I rather have RJ Harvey or Pacheco? Short term Pacheco, I'd play Pacheco over RJ Harvey, but long term, I want RJ Harvey. DB's in this biatch. Elites says he just made an absolute blockbuster. My 12-man. Lay it on me, brother. Miles, pardon me. I keep on calling you Elite, but again, bad with names. I did remember that one. It's easy to remember my name because it's right here on the bottom, you know. I should fuck with you guys and put a different name up there. Sorry I missed last night's stream. I needed some sleep, boys. It was like 10:30, or I was watching the Charlie Sheen thing. You guys should check that out on Netflix, the Charlie Sheen documentary. Fucking insane. Like, we all know the crazy shit Charlie Sheen has done, and I'm sure he got paid a lot of money. He just wrote a book, but the Charlie Sheen doc is definitely worth a watch. Morning. It is morning. Actually, it's not morning here, but it might be morning where you're at. But seems like morning to me because I slept so much. So we got a question. We got Mahomes, Kamara, Taylor, Javonte Williams, Scatabo. That's a good team. That's a good team, Augusto. Scatabo is, you got Scatabo and Javonte Williams, dude, and Kamara and Taylor. That is money. I would maybe think about trading Kamara after a week or two, more production, because you're going to have Scatabo, like you're going to want to start Scatabo eventually. And you can't start him over Kamara, but if you can upgrade your receivers, if you could trade like a Kamara and Devontae Adams, if Adams has one more good week, and get a Justin Jefferson or one of those depreciated wide receivers like Drake London or Nico Collins, that's awesome because then you could bench Kupp. Lamar, Saquon, JCM, Devonta Smith, DJ Moore, Brock. Am I panicking or just wait on wide receivers to click? So you have, let's see, Devontae, DJ Moore, Ridley. I'm not worried about Ridley at all. I'm not as worried about DJ Moore as some. Like, he'll get his, man. And Devontae Smith's fine. So you just happen to draft 3 receivers that started extremely slow. So I wouldn't do anything with that team. And Travion Henderson, yeah, you're fine. You just need to win this week. So hopefully you're favored this week and you can win. Hope you've been good. Good to see you. Yeah, good to see you too, DB. I received Saquon, AJ Brown in London. Who'd you trade? Vincent said, should I pick up Chase Brown and drop Ridley? I mean, if Chase Brown, someone dropped him, I mean, fuck yeah, dude. Chase Brown is still an RB1. Yeah, dude, was that not well put together with the Charlie Sheen doc? And as we know, Charlie Sheen has no shame. So, and I get he got paid a lot of money for this, so of course he's gonna. I don't think he's lying about any of this shit because it's how could you? Like it's all pretty much documented. The details are different in terms of like more intimate. Charlie Sheen, like how is that guy alive? What's a shame for me? I'm a big Chris Farley fan, and Chris Farley like appeared to me that Charlie Sheen was way worse of a drug addict than Chris Farley, and Charlie Sheen was doing that shit into his 40s, right? And fucking Farley died at 33. So I'm not saying I wish Charlie Sheen died over Chris Farley, or maybe I am. I just wish we had Chris Farley in our life because Charlie Sheen's kind of an ass. Super smart guy, though. I mean, interesting life for sure. Would you do Adams, Ridley, and Javonte for Nico and Hampton? If you can afford to not have Hampton in your starting lineup for a couple weeks, probably. But I still love Nico. That's my thing. So I don't know if. Yeah. That's tough. That's a tough one. It depends on your build and how deep the league is. If it's a shallow league, I'm doing it. If it's a deep league, I'm probably not. No problem, Jones. Going against 2-0 this week. Yeah, but you know what? The nice thing is sometimes you realize if you're going against a team that's 2-0 with high points and you're 0-2 with low points, the odds are that your team is going to pop because all your guys have been awful. And the odds are his team's going to bust because all his players have been awesome, right? Like, are the guys that are dominating going to keep on dominating? Like, maybe, but I would say that most likely they come back to the average and they don't. Traded King Henry and Breece Hall for Jesus. For Saquon, A.J. Brown in London. If it was Saquon and A.J. Brown for Henry and Breece Hall, you won. So you just got a free Drake London, my man. Leafy says, how are we feeling about Carson Wentz with Minnesota? I have a good feeling. I like Carson Wentz, dude. I think he might keep this job. So we'll see. Yeah, Blake, dude, I didn't know anything on Nick Cage shit. That fucking that the thing in the plane when he had the ounce of coke in his fucking like taped to his leg. Two crazy plane stories in that one where he's literally driving a commercial fucking flight drunk. But yeah, Nick Cage was nuts, dude. I didn't ever heard anything about that with Nick Cage. What's up, Ivan? I have May, Neighbors, J-Mo, Chase Brown, Henderson, Strange, and Buka, Schrader, and Vikings D. Yeah, I like that. Jones says number one killer is in USA is diabetes. Is that because of the Chris Farley thing? I don't know. Chris Farley had diabetes. He was really fat. Chevy says D-Hop or J-Mo. J-Mo. D-Hop, here's the thing. If you look at the box score, D-Hop has 2 touchdowns and, 90 yards or whatever, 80 yards. D-Hop has played 16 snaps week 1 and 10 snaps week 2. He's just a specialty player for them. He's just a luxury for them. He's not catching a touchdown every week. And 10 snaps, even if he plays 20 snaps, I don't like starting guys that barely play. So Nick Cage was the wild boy. That whole crew. I didn't even know he ran with Charlie Sheen. But again, I'm only 37, so a lot of the stuff when Sheen was in the 90s and stuff, I was a kid. So, would you drop DK to get a Dunze, Robert? No. It's close, man. But you got to have someone else to drop to get on Dunze. I would not. I think they're ranked pretty close together for me. I still believe in DK. DK is still the one there. Odunze's produced well. But you still have DJ Moore there. Eventually, Colson Loveland will get his act together and play. You still got Luther Burden sitting on the bench. Like, there's going to be a lot of weapons to utilize in Chicago. There is nobody in Pittsburgh. Silver Soul got offered Pickens, Benson, Troy Franklin for Josh Jacobs. So essentially, I'm not even going to count Troy Franklin as a player. I get he's been doing okay, but it's Pickens and Benson for Josh Jacobs. You do that trade right now. If you need a running back for sure. Hey, CK, how you doing? Got offered ETN and Pitts for Kelsey. Yeah, I'm doing that trade. I'm not too in on Kelsey, so you're getting a free ETN. Yes, Kelsey's better than Pitts, but yeah, you trade Travis Kelsey right now because if he's not producing crazy right now with no Worthy and no Rice, you think he's going to produce awesome with Worthy and with Rice? Christian says, any waiver wire ad you recommend, mainly asking for wide receivers. I have Jefferson, but I'm skeptical. I mean, you're starting Jefferson. He's fine. He'll be better with Wentz. Alec Iomanner is a guy you want to grab. If he's taken, that sucks. But Iomanner, I want Iomanner over Troy Franklin. Iomanner is going to be the for sure number 2 going forward. He has been the number 2 in Tennessee. So, damn, Blake, you were born in 99, huh? What does that make you? Not even 30, 26. Kay says, what is football exactly? I ask that question on a daily basis. Oh, no. See, you're talking about football. Football is the most popular sport in the world. That would be soccer over here. NFL. We're talking NFL football. Yeah, Iomanner's the dude, man. That's, well, Blake, cheers to you being young. I'm a little jealous. I feel young sometimes. I feel like I act young. So, it's nice to be young, though. Born in 99. That's wild, dude. That's wild.
Absolutely. I'm always looking for Jack Doyle.
Manchester. He's a Manchester fan, I'm guessing. I don't really know all the soccer teams. What's Kendre Miller's value? Strict handcuff, I would say. I'd say he's more valuable to a Camaro owner, but yeah, Blake, I'm the opposite. I was born in 88, so I barely made the 80s, which I feel bad for you missing the 90s because the 90s was probably the best decade, I'd say, because you had technology coming to the forefront. You still had some old school values like the 80s. Yeah, 90s is probably the best. I mean, maybe I'm a little partial, but like I was only 10 and 12 through the 90s. But like if I could go back now and as an adult, I'd probably want to live in the 90s. Like the best time for movies, dude. 90s movies, fucking unreal, man. Action movies were good. Horror movies were coming back. Comedies were great, like Jim Carrey, Chris Farley, Adam Sandler. Pop culture in the 90s, yeah. 80s was good too. 80s was weird. A lot of coke going on in the 80s, so a lot of some wacky shit. But I'm partial to like 80s slasher films. That's like one of my favorite like go-to genres. Funny, a lot of titties. Like I love comedy and tits. So, Attitude Era for WWE. Yep. When I watched wrestling, it was more the Kane, Undertaker, like middle stage Undertaker. That era, so that was like the 2000s, early 2000s, I'd say. That was a good time for wrestling. A lot of my buddies still watch wrestling, which I can't do. I mean, there's not enough name value there. I feel like the wrestlers suck. It's just been done too much where like it was still kind of fresh in the late 90s, early 2000s. All right, that coffee got me going. I'm good to go. Yeah, that's pretty much when I watched. I'm trying to think. It was like 8th grade through like junior year. Argo says, wondering I should make any moves with this team. 16-team Dynasty. Okay, so I got to get into Dynasty mode. Lamar, Drake May, Chuba, Trevion, JSN, Tet, Ibuka, Warren. Ooh. Bannon, dude, you got a stacked ass Dynasty team. Sharp, Shaheed, Tyrone Tracy, Flex. You can maybe try to trade Tyrone Tracy right now because before this week comes up, because he's not going to have much value at all if he'll be a handcuff essentially. I think you're probably in win now mode, but you could possibly, since you have Drake May, it's not a 2 quarterback, right? Like you could trade Lamar. You have Drake May. I'm a Drake May believer long term this year. If you can get back a young quarterback like Cam Ward and a stud running back or stud receiver, I think I might do that. Oh, it's super flex. Okay, do not trade Lamar then. I would try to flip Tyrone Tracy for something because Tyrone Tracy, like, he is technically young, but he's not going to be a thing in New York. It appears because Cam Scatabo is the dude, man. He's taking that job. Oh, Blake's still watching wrestling. I don't even know, like, who's the Miz? Like, who the fuck's the guys in WWE now that's like relevant? I don't know. Brandon says, should we buy low on BTJ? Probably, man. Depending on how low we're talking, because he's getting, what does he have, 20 targets or 18 targets in 2 weeks? Like, he's getting the work. Trevor Lawrence has been good, but he's been throwing to everyone but Brian Thomas. I'm still confident in Brian Thomas. I mean, I was way off Brian Thomas to start the year, so I have 0 shares because I knew he's not a polished receiver. I knew Trevor Lawrence is kind of dog shit, but I don't think his stock's going to go any lower than now. You have the phantom wrist injury he's dealing with. He's playing through it, so I'm not too worried about that. So I would definitely trade low on Brian Thomas. Cody says full PPR. Should I trade Javonte Williams? Why is this not showing up? Okay, there we go. Should I trade Javonte Williams for Marvin Harrison Jr.? I have Bijan and Gibbs. Oh, 100% do that, dude. Marvin Harrison's such a good buy low. I said it a couple days ago at the stream. The game scripts that the Cardinals have had, they've been up by 2 or 3 scores in the first half of every single game. So they haven't had to throw the ball in the second half at all. Marvin Harrison looks good. They're using him. The other people are saying that they're not using him properly, dude. He's actually being utilized way better than last year. He's playing out of the slot. He's already ran more slot snaps this year than he did all of last year. That's only going to continue. So buy low on Marvin Harrison for sure. I would trade Adams for BTJ. Yes, all day long. Davante Adams is old, man. He's still fine, but like Adams is like a back end wide receiver 2, maybe mid wide receiver 2. BTJ is still a front end wide receiver 2 with upside. Blake says Roman Reigns, Seth Collins, Cody Rhodes. Okay, Cody Rhodes, yeah. Oh God, John Cena and all that plastic. John Cena looks like a freak show right now. He got a bunch of plastic surgery. CM Punk, he's a Chicago local dude. I know that. Yeah, I would definitely trade Brandon. I would trade Adams for Brian Thomas. That for sure. If you could probably get that one done too. Definitely get that one done. Cena versus Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is still wrestling, huh? So, I did that. My wide receivers are JSN, Nico, and BTJ. My RBs are A-Chain, Jacobs. And yeah, that's fine. Your team's good. Is it a 12-team league? JSN, Nico, and BTJ? Fuck yeah, dude. So, essentially, you got JSN was a third-round pick, early third. Nico was a first/second. BTJ was a first/second. A-Chain was a first. You have 3 turn draft picks right there. So I like that. You're buying low. That's how you win in fantasy, man. Sell high, buy low. You didn't even really sell that high on Davante Adams. You bought low on BTJ. So, yeah, I like that a lot. I bet the guy did it because Davante Adams is better in half PPR than full PPR. He's not going to get a shitload of targets and catches just with Puka Nacua there. But Brian Thomas is going to get all the work. He's going. You saw the first game, man. He had 0 catches, but he got an end-around touchdown. So Brian Thomas is a guy that might have 2 or 3 rushing touchdowns this year. We got Joe Stonker still in here talking poop. Like, not even talking about poop. We got, what should I do about Scary Terry? You can't do much. You can't do much about Terry McLaurin right now. You have to just ride with him. I mean, you could bench him if you have better options, but I'm not too worried about Daniels missing this week. Mariota is a former number 2 overall pick. The guy's seen it all. He's good in that offense. They don't have to change the offense for Mariota. It's not like they're going from Daniels to Mac Jones, right? You don't have to change the offense when you bring in Mariota. He knows the offense. Doesn't have the big arm like Daniels, but he can hit a deep pass or 2. So I'm still rolling with Terry, and you probably have to start him. I wouldn't do anything crazy like start Troy Franklin over Terry McLaurin. I wouldn't start Io Manor over McLaurin. If you have like Keon Coleman or Cedric Tillman, I think I'm still starting Terry over those guys. So I'm rolling with Terry McLaurin. You drafted him high. He was always going to start slow. We got to understand. He was coming off that holdout. Those guys always start slow. Jaden Daniels is the problem there. It hasn't really been Terry McLaurin. He would have hit on 2 deep passes if he was playing like he was last year. Is that for real? I know he had a lot of targets last week. He had like 4 straight in the end zone, 3 straight in the end zone. It's still Puka Nacua the one there. So that's the thing. Are you sure? Because I know I'm pretty sure Chris Olave has the most targets. Olave has 23 targets on the year. No, I mean, it was Mariota and Jameis Winston were the top 2 picks in that draft, 1 and 2, and both of them turned out to be kind of duds. Although the Jameis experience has been pretty fun. What's funny is I brought up 2 guys he has on his team. I would start Coleman maybe. If you want to start Coleman tonight, I would not start Franklin over Terry McLaurin. We got flex T. Ridley or Keenan Allen. T. Higgins typically most weeks is going to be your flex because I'm not worried about Browning starting there. But this week against the Vikings in the first start for Browning, granted he played 3 quarters on Sunday. I think I'm going to go Ridley, man. I like Ridley's matchup this week. He's due for a good game. Probably going to catch a touchdown. So, yeah, he has more targets than Puka, but I know Olave specifically has 23 targets. So, I mean, I still want Puka over Davante Adams. This is the reason why I kind of faded Puka this year. It was the Matt Stafford back injury we didn't know much about. Puka always being banged up, and then Devontae Adams. But it hasn't really, no problem, man. It hasn't really affected Puka Nacua because that guy's a PPR machine, and he had a 45-yard rushing touchdown week 2. But yeah, the touchdown upside for Puka is going to go down because you have Devontae Adams being like the go-to dude. Yeah, we're going to build a parlay here in a minute. Robert says Terry, Ibuka, or DK. Probably Ibuka. If you get to start one of those 3. I would pay attention to the injury report, though, because Ibuka, he played through it on Monday night. He played 93% of the snaps. But in the second quarter, you saw after a play where he got hit over the middle, they were wrapping his groin and hamstring area, and he wasn't as effective after that. Now, he was still playing. He did miss that that deep out in the fourth quarter when the comeback. It was going to be a 40, 50-yard gain. I don't know if it was a little bit out in front of him, but that might have been because he was a step slow, where Baker just expected him to be a little farther downfield. But it's Ibuka for me as long as he's playing. And as long as there's not like he might be limited on Sunday kind of report. Argo says, does Ibuka tier down when Godwin comes back? The crazy thing is I just read today that Godwin might target week 4, which would be next week, and they already played this, or no, they don't. They played, that was Monday Night Football. So the first couple weeks, not at all, because I don't think Godwin's going to be coming and playing a healthy amount of snaps, but maybe a tad. I wouldn't say a tier down, maybe a couple players down, right? If you were ranking him as a weekly wide receiver 18-ish, maybe he goes to wide receiver 24. But I'm not worried. I think it's just going to help and open up the offense because they have not, their passing offense has been kind of rough. They have the passing touchdowns, right? Baker's got 5 passing touchdowns, but what is he averaging? 200 yards a game? Pretty low. Baker, I'll get to your question here in a second, Devious. Have you heard anything about Baker being hurt? No, I haven't. He is banged up. You saw him get hit twice, have 2 knee issues, but you also saw him have that badass run on 4th and 10 to extend that drive, that game-winning drive. Baker is going to play through any injury. That's what I love about Baker. And yeah, it's probably going to affect, any injury is going to affect his mobility. It's not going to affect the other wide receivers there because he's going to throw more and not run as much. I'll get your question in a second, Sauce. 10-team PPR, Mahomes, Robinson, A-Chain, Mason. Anything I should do? So Mahomes is fine. Bijan, A-Chain, Mason. Got to start Mason this week if you can. Judkins is a nice stash. London, Harrison, Olave, Jennings, Smith. Who's your tight ends? Kittle. No, man. I don't think there's really anything you should do. You can't trade Travis Hunter. You can't trade Devonta Smith. Yeah, your receivers all are underperforming, but I trust in London and Harrison in particular. I love those guys. Devonta Smith will be fine. I still think Travis Hunter will be fine. I think you could try to trade Quentin Johnston, and I think what you could do is wait a week, hope Quentin Johnston has one more at least decent week of 10 points minimum. Trade Quentin Johnston, and then if Mason pops off, since you're not going to need him because you have Robinson and A-Chain, trade Mason and Johnston and try to get a stud. Yeah, that's what I would do. Or if the team, you could try to trade Kittle and pair him with someone and try to get Trey McBride because Trey McBride's stock's a little down. Sauce God has Myers, Pickens, Jennings, PPR. It's not Jennings. You can't start Jennings right now. He's left every single game he's played injured, and he's injured. And here's the thing about Jennings. His contract is super incentive based, so he's going to keep on playing through these injuries because he needs to hit these numbers to get his contract essentially doubles if he hits whatever the receiving and touchdown numbers are. I don't know exactly what the details are. I would probably, if it's half PPR, I'm going Pickens, but you said it's full PPR. So Myers or Pickens, I'd say Myers is safer. Pickens has upside. So if you're kind of the underdog and you want a little bit of juice in your lineup, I'd say Pickens. I'd probably just start Pickens either way. You know what? Because Brock Bowers is going to do better. Right now, Myers is the only target there with Bowers kind of being shaken up. Genty will play better. It's Pickens for me. Bapo says, picked up the Bills D this week. So we're starting them or wait on the Vikings Sunday. Start the Bills. You're starting a defense against the Miami Dolphins whenever you can. So you're starting the Bills here. You could hold the Vikings defense. They're going to be good all year. But, I mean, I would, if you want to pick up a backup running back, that'd be cool. Alan says, picked up Daniel Jones on waiver and got offered Baker in a trade. Yeah, you're taking Baker for Daniel Jones. There's a chance that Daniel Jones goes the way of Derek Carr last year, where they were the number one offense through 2 weeks, and then they just became shit. Baker Mayfield is a top 10 fantasy quarterback. So, definitely. Yeah, I know it's PPR. So, yeah, Blake, that's what I was saying. If you want the safe option, it's Jacoby Myers, but I'm not worried about Pickens. Pickens, that was a coming out party last week. I think it's going to be a high scoring game in Chicago. So I'm holding on to Minnesota. Yeah, you can hold Minnesota's defense. I'm definitely playing the Bills this week over him. Bo Nix or Penix? It's Bo Nix. It's definitely Bo Nix. I think Penix might have a decent week, but Penix is playing Carolina, and they have the number one run funnel. So they're just going to – and look what they did last week. They ran the ball – Algier had 15 carries. So, Gaddis, what's the scoring on that, man? If it's PPR, I'm going Pickens. Standard or half, I'm going ETN. What the fuck is going on outside my house right now? Sounds like there's construction going on. Yeah, dude, Falcons defense is probably one of the best plays this week. Broncos defense looked if there's not a better option, I'm not dropping the Broncos D, and I don't like to roster 2Ds, so I'm rolling with the Broncos defense in the league I have them in because I don't want to drop them, and I don't like the rostering 2 defenses. But Falcons defense looks good. The matchup's great against a Pipsqueak and Bryce Young, so I'm going Falcons D if I had a choice. But the Falcons were available on waivers, so. Sauce says Tyreek Hill or Kenneth Walker for flex. It's Tyreek Hill, man. It's Tyreek Hill. Kenneth Walker's usage is still inconsistent, man. So I get the matchup's great in New Orleans, but I'm going Tyreek Hill. I get that, Blake. I don't think I would want to drop Josh Downs for Troy Franklin. I don't buy into this. Like Sean Payton, I don't buy into anything he's doing. So 1 week it's Troy Franklin. Next week it's going to be Marvin Mims playing more snaps. Would it surprise you if Pat Bryant got into the rotation a little bit more and you get more Pat Bryant? So Josh Downs is also one injury away from Pittman or Pierce. Maybe not so much Pierce, but Josh Downs is a really good player. And I can't say the same for Troy Franklin. I know he's a hot pickup. You follow the snaps, you follow the catches and targets, and I get that Troy Franklin had those. And he had them week 1 as well. But I'm still a believer in Pat Bryant, and I think Evan Ingram might still be relevant. And I don't think you want to start Evan Ingram in fantasy, but Evan Ingram has 2 catches through 2 weeks. So I think that's going to be more of a balance between those two, where you might have 3-4 catches from Ingram and then only 3 or 4 from Franklin. So, well, yeah, as long as Josh Downs doesn't pop off this week, you're good. Boppo, full PPR, 2 flex, Swift, Franklin, Travis Hunter, Pearsall. So you're starting Pearsall for sure. No problem, Boppo. Hopefully you subscribed and you we're doing these every day. I missed yesterday, unfortunately, but I usually do 2 shows. I'm doing a recap or we're doing something tonight after the game, late night. So you're going Pearsall for sure. And then I think I'm going Pearsall and Swift. Is my take. You can't start Jennings. Christian Kirk, you can't trust the injury coming back. Travis Hunter, I don't know how many snaps he's playing on defense. He played 39 defensive snaps last week. So it looks like they're going to play him 60% of the time on both ends of the ball, which I don't like. Pearsall for sure. And then your other choice is up to you. I would go Swift. What do you do with Hawkinson? Did you guys see the route that Hawkinson ran that kind of went viral? It was like a little it was like a little slant, but it was like a stop and go. And he just like did this crazy like basketball move, and then like the defender didn't even move because he's so slow, and then he just like deflected the pass. Well, thanks, Boppo. Yeah, Hawkinson looks toast, man. And the offense is an issue. And you also still have Addison coming back, which is going to eat into Hawkinson's snap share. They're going to go much more run heavy now with Jordan Mason. Downs, yeah. So I mean, he might still be good. Boppo, that route was like, it was like overacting, right? Like, it's like, dude, just be more subtle. Less is more. Yeah, that's the beauty of Travis Kelce, right? Like he doesn't even try to pull any moves anymore. He's just subtle and trusts the timing with Mahomes. And that was just fucking trash. The shimmy shake. That was a shimmy shake, man. The defender was the best part because he's just like, what is this, dude? Like, boom. What's up, Mark? Think Hampton worth acquiring? Yeah, Hampton is definitely a buy. If I'm a Hampton owner, which luckily I have 0 Hampton shares because I faded that guy, I'm going to play it one more time because I love it. We call Amarian Hampton around here the bouncer because he bounces everything outside. If you've seen it, he's a big guy. He should just run straight. Don't bounce. He's the bouncer.
Take it easy because this talking dump of a bouncer is starting to get on my nerves. I'm gonna have you fired, dickhole.
So yeah, we're getting Hampton. We're acquiring Hampton right now because here's the caveat. If you can trade for Hampton and he's on your bench, we got to see how it shakes out this week. But me and my boy Story on the show, he was on the show on Monday. We both predicted it was gonna be a 60-40, 60% Najee Harris snap share over 40 for Hampton. So you can't start Hampton this week. You can't start Hampton next week, probably. It's a stash, which sucks. The 3rd round pick's a stash. But if I had to trade Hampton, I would never trade him because hopefully I drafted good enough and I have Javonte Williams or Nick Chubb or Scatabo to slot into my lineup and just kind of let Hampton marinate on my bench. So if you can give up a Nick Chubb or a Montgomery or someone for Hampton, yes, I'm doing that. Bapo says, I got Hunter Henry at tight end because Kittle's on IR, but I don't know. Henry's fine. He had a bad week last week. Henry's fine. Especially the next couple of weeks because you still don't have a full allotment of snaps for Stephon Diggs yet. And I like the matchup this week. I think you got to roll with him. I think a couple names to look if you want to go a little more aggressive is Theo Johnson against the Chiefs this week. That's a good matchup against tight ends. Theo Johnson's playing every snap. I love him athletically. Had like 30 yards receiving last week. So he's a guy. Chikakonkwo should be. He's still playing every snap in Tennessee. I like that. But Hunter Henry's a safer option. Yeah, my you could also say like your 90-year-old grandma could have ran that route as well as him. So yeah, he's that was like kind of reminded me of who the hell was it? Ernie Els. Remember when Ernie Els like 6-putted from 2 feet, the first hole of the Masters, and actually ended up getting 2nd place, which is one of the craziest feats ever. That was like that. It's like, dude, just putt the ball in the hole. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Look at this deep dive from Blake. Josh Downs versus Titans, 19 catches, 238 yards, 2 TDs in 4 games. So that's about 5 catches a game, 65 yards, and then a half touchdown. So like that. QJ or Waddle this week. Silver Soul. We were talking about that earlier in the show. I don't know if you could trust Waddle. We don't even know if he's going to be active for this game. But we know Waddle is an expert in starting, being hurt, starting, and then leaving the game and missing a quarter and sometimes missing the rest of the game. Unfortunately, Quentin Johnston is someone I'm fading in general going forward just because his numbers have been so good. So I don't know. I would say see if there's someone better, but I'd probably still start Waddle over Quentin Johnston if he's playing. Hey, Junk Buster's in here. Hey, bud, start to Amon-Ra, Metcalf, Ibuka, and Higgins, full PPR. It's Amon-Ra for sure. It's probably Amon-Ra and Ibuka. But that's Ernie had a smooth swing, Bapo, but one of the worst yippy putters ever. It's Amon-Ra for sure, and then pick your poison. I'd probably rank it Ibuka, Metcalf, Higgins. Just for this, typically I would be starting Higgins every week, but this is a tough matchup against the Vikings. Mark says Benson, Charb, Harvey, Robinson Jr. are type of guys worth being involved in a trade for Hampton. Probably Sharp. I mean, I like all those guys as stashes. So, like, they're all equal to Hampton, I'd say. I'd say Hampton. I'd rather have Hampton than Harvey. But, like, why would he take Harvey over Hampton? Because they're both in the same situation. You could probably pull it off for Benson because he might be like, Benson's getting me more points. And Benson is still a handcuff. Start to Mason, K9, and Genty. It's Mason for sure. It's Mason and Genty. And K9's got a great matchup. They play the Saints, but I'm starting Mason like no matter what. I'm starting Mason over everyone but like the top 8 guys this week. And then Genty is still Genty. So 5.5. Hey-oh. That's pretty good, man. I didn't take most of the year off. I have a hand injury. I've played 18 rounds, but I was like a 0.4 last year. Again, caveat, I worked at a country club for 18 years, so I got free golf at a hard course. Unlimited. So that helps. You're in the like 90. You're like in top 5% in golf in the world. Maybe even like top 3% because most golfers suck. Metcalf has a good matchup against New England, so I think I'd take Metcalf. Well, here's the thing about missing their guard's gone. What's it? Cody Munch or whatever, the guy that is the ginger with no teeth. He's really good though. But they're gonna get Tristan Wirfs back, I think, this week. So Wirfs is more important than Cody Munch. I think it's Munch. We're gonna call him Munch. It stinks because they were about to have an elite offensive line, and now they're gonna be right kind of where they were. So is selling Ibuka first? Yeah, I would sell Ibuka right now because he has 3 touchdowns through 2 weeks, and his stock, unless he comes out and has 9 catches for 100 yards and a touchdown, his stock won't go up. Seen a stat saying Golden is basically getting open the most of any wide receiver. Yeah, Golden's open, and he's had 2 deep shots that Jordan Love just missed. But my worry with Golden is I got to see the snaps go up because Wicks is playing ahead of him right now, and they like Dubs. So Tucker Kraft is their number 1 there, right? As a tight end. So I'm buying on Golden though because you're not getting a full health receiver core there until week 12. Jaden Reed is not coming back till week 12 or week 13. Start BTJ or London. Just subscribe. Thanks for the tips. No problem, dude. I'm probably starting London, man. I think London. I know the matchup doesn't look great in terms of like pass volume for Michael Penix and Drake London because the Panthers are the number 1 run funnel right now. But Drake London's going to have a big start. That's a tough one. I'm a big London guy, so I'm going to roll with Drake London. That's a good option to have. There's no one else that you can bench for BTJ. Sorry, hey, it's never too late to start. And if you're already there with 10 years of experience or whatever, I don't know how old you are, but that's pretty good. You just can't start Golden right now. I mean, if you want to take that deep dart throw that he has a big game, unfortunately, he has 1 or 2 catches. He had 2 carries week 2, but no catches. He has like 1 or 2 catches in 2 games. Not yet, Boppo, but I'm working on getting monetized. It's 1,000 subscribers. I have well over that. It's just the watch time. So I need like 500 more watch hours, which I should get by the end of the week, I'm thinking. Maybe in 7 days. But I appreciate you mentioning that. Usually I'm supposed to be the one mentioning that. But what I love Boppo. Boppo, a good addition to the channel. I appreciate you. Hey, we got TB in the chat. What's up, TB? Mark says start 2 full PPR. Coleman, Judy, Quentin Johnston. Coleman for sure. And probably Judy, man. It's tough. They have the Packers this week. And Judy is just dropping passes left and fucking right. But yeah, that's tough. It's Coleman for sure. And then I think Quentin Johnson, maybe. I'm just not, I don't know. I liked Quentin Johnson last year when everyone was off him completely. And they were still off him this year. And I think I was just worried about Trey Harris taking snaps from him. And that just doesn't seem to be the case. What does it take for the Bears to move on from Caleb? He's not the guy. It's not going to happen this year, maybe mid-year, but there's just no reason. He's still so young. It's not like he's a complete disaster out there. It's just the individual plays look worse than the sum of the parts, if that makes sense. Like some of the plays are just so bad. That overthrow interception where you scramble to the right, the play usually hits. It looked like he was throwing the ball out of bounds, just goes right to the 3rd defender. It wasn't even the guy guarding him. It was to the safety. I'm still not giving up on Caleb. It's a coaching thing. Thanks, Boppo. What's wrong with Jaylen Waddle? It's that shoulder injury, man. Week 1, it happened like in the 2nd quarter. Typical landed on his shoulder. He's a weak little bitch. But he played through it last week, and now I guess it flared up. I don't know. This is the first I heard of it. When I woke up, I looked at RotoWorld and it said he's questionable for the game. So I compared it to Jaylen Waddle is like going to the zoo, trying to see your favorite animal or an animal you like, and you just can't see him because he's in there. But he's hiding in the back. He comes out for a play or 2 and then gets hurt again and then goes back to the back. And that's what I don't like. That's the problem with going to the zoo, right? You just don't get to see all the animals. Would you do Genti and Ibuka for Jonathan Taylor? Dude, I probably wouldn't do that. As much as I love Jonathan Taylor, I still believe in Genty, like season long, being a back end RB1, where Jonathan Taylor is a top 5 running back, it appears. Definitely in half PPR, I like Jonathan Taylor. I'm a little concerned, but they'll be fine, dude. Geno Smith's been fine. Does this help A-Chain in fantasy? Yes. Jaylen Waddle being hurt helps A-Chain. A-Chain's going to be fine. A-Chain's going to go as his receiving work's going to be set in stone, right? But his boom weeks are going to come from having some rushing upside. And if the offense is broken like it has been, he just gets 7 catches for 70 yards. That's it. If they can be competitive, he also adds 60 yards on the ground, and now you're looking good. Took Bills -10 today. Going to be a nice little payout. Yeah, that moved. It's 11.5 now. I'm just always worried because that's like the max. I can't put it at 14 because the Dolphins still have semblance of NFL talent. It's Thursday night's always tough. Thursday night division game is always tough. But you're also looking at this could be. I could see it both ways. I could see the Dolphins making this like losing by a field goal, or they're going to lose by like 35 points, and this is it for Mike McDaniel, and the team just gives up if they haven't already, and this is just a fucking bloodbath. So A-Chain does eat against Buffalo. They did have the 31st ranked run defense, and last year it wasn't good, but they just destroyed a run-heavy team in the Jets. So, yeah, that's what receptions do in a PPR right there, man. That's why you draft A-Chain, right? Oh, damn, you took the alt. It was up to 14. Is it up to 14 right now? I haven't seen it, so that's wild. That is wild. It was last week. Okay. I mean, I still don't mind it. I think it's a 60% probability, which, hey, if you make every bet you make 60% chance of winning, you make money. Definitely check out the gambling show, Bappo. It's Saturday night live at like midnight-ish, maybe later this week. And then Friday night, 7 p.m., I release my bets on just a regular YouTube video. It's 5 minutes or so. I went 5-0 last week, 7-1 on the year, 64% against the spread. These are all player props with 64% the last 4 years. Yeah, so you just go to the channel and then it's not live; it's the actual videos. It's Friday. It's Friday at like between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. But if you turn your notifications on, you'll get it. The thing is, those prop bets fucking change so fast. We're like week 1, I bet it was Fields and Daniels rushing prop at 42.5, and by the time the video was released 4 hours later, they were both at 45.5. So I can't do anything about that because I have to record it, edit it, and then put it out. Sometimes it changes the other way, but I usually am on the right side of it. Yeah, and always, the thing is betting, always have multiple books because, and I put where I bet it, right? Whether it's FanDuel, DraftKings. So like last week, Jamar Chase, what's funny is I actually hedged a little bit and I wish I didn't. It was Jamar Chase was 83.5 on FanDuel and 87.5 on DraftKings. So I put a big ass bet on the over 83.5 and then I sprinkle a little under 87, which gives you the chance to win both for a 4-yard buffer there. Always do that if you can. I don't even know what chalkboard is. Where are you from, Bappo? Like, are you from New York or something? I like the New York accent. Hey, babe, can you give me one more cup of coffee? Can you make me 1 cup of coffee? Oh, I'll have a ginger ale. That sounds good. Cool. Oh, Texas. We're at in Texas. I was just in Texas last year. Devin says, should I trade? Thank you. Want to say hi? No. Oh. You don't look like garbage. Should I trade Connor and Ibuka for BTJ? You have Pollard, Stevenson, Mason. Yeah, dude, you can get rid of Connor because you have Mason. Mason's going to keep that job all year. Maybe not like the bell cow role when Aaron Jones comes back, but Aaron Jones is dust, bro. I would do that, man. You're trading so low on BTJ and so high in Ibuka. Like just 2 weeks ago in draft season, Ibuka was a 6th-round pick and BTJ was a late 1st, early 2nd. So like that's good business, bro. That's what we want to do. Got offered Gibbs and BTJ for Neighbors and Hampton. Yeah, dude, you do that trade for sure, Sanchez. You got London, JMO, Ridley, H.N. Kamara. Yeah, you're getting BTJ and Gibbs. Gibbs and Neighbors are even. We'll say they're even. And would you rather have BTJ or Hampton? Like, fuck. All day you do that trade. All day. Chalkboard is an East Coast thing. Malik Washington at 33 rush. That's receiving seems weird. That's seems kind of high, but there's the chance that maybe they think that Waddle's going to play, but Waddle could get hurt, and miss some snaps or be limited. So I like that Malik Washington line. If you're a Waddle owner, definitely pick up Malik Washington right now, or even if you're not, and if you need a flex, and they roll out Waddle before the game. Hey, Boppo says hi to you. I like Boppo. He's got a cool name, too. Prince Charles released an autobiography, which he states that he never loved Princess Di, and that his father pressured him to marry him. The book is entitled, Of Course OJ Did It. I mean, come on. Well, we all know he did it. Pour one out for OJ. Robert says, I have Gibbs as my one. Which one of these are next? ETN, Jamal Williams, and Genty. Jamal Williams. So I'm going Genty. Genty for sure. I know ETN seems appealing. You're not benching Genty, dude. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. Jan says, start Debo or Tyreek as my flex. Tyreek, man. Tyreek. You got questions with Daniels. You're still starting Tyreek. He's fine. What's good, Jared? Not much, man. Just chilling, talking Thursday Night Football, talking Week 3, talking OJ Simpson, apparently. Well, I wouldn't be nervous. London, the worry is the shoulder injury, but he looked fine. He played all the snaps. And BTJ, apparently there's a wrist injury. Not worried about that. And that's a Trevor Lawrence problem. It will be better. Their offense looks functional. Liam Cohen is fine. I'm fine with I'm Nico. I'm buying more on Nico in London than BTJ, but if the panic on BTJ is the same as those two, which he's actually put up better numbers, I'm definitely buying in all those guys, dude. If Mason does have a decent yeah, well, Mason, here's the thing, Junk. Mason was playing ahead of Aaron Jones before the injury. Even in bad game scripts, they were losing, and he was playing more snaps than Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones, they know they need to keep him healthy. He is a receiving back. Mason's an all-purpose back, and typically just a banger, but he's getting all the goal line work all year no matter what. The offense will get better, which will help Mason. And for the next 4 weeks, 5 weeks, where, Jones is out at least 4, Mason's going to be, I would never bench Mason. Like, I think he's going to get 22 touches minimum. Oh, thanks, Boppo. Yeah, likes help get more people in here for sure. So if you could, and subscribe, of course, but that's your prerogative. Yeah, Mason should have been starting anyway. And again, he kind of did start, but he should have been like their guy, and Aaron Jones change of pace. Just put my picks in for prize picks. I don't do prize picks, but start one running back, full PPR, Sharp, Benson, Harvey, Robinson Jr., Judkins. Those are a lot of good stashes, but this week, Sharp is a start. I think it's Sharp or Judkins. Sharp has the Saints, man. So I know he hasn't had a single reception on the year, but Sharp is a fine receiver. He's still playing more snaps than Kenneth Walker. So it's probably Sharp. If you want to take the wild card stab, it's Judkins. The other guys, you can't start. I would probably rank it Benson, Harvey, Robinson Jr., but it's definitely Charbonnet. The more I hear about this Adolf Hitler guy, the more I do not care for him. Well, that is true. We've all heard a lot. And I think it's illegal to name your kid Adolf in Germany now. So Jones is on the wrong side of 30, and he's had a big workload, man. He was injury prone when he was young. Poke says trade Irving, McConkey, Sutton, and Myers for Barkley, Hill, and Wandale. McConkey, Sutton, and Myers. Oh, man. I don't think Wandale's anything, so you can almost just not include him in the trade. So it's going to be Barkley and Hill for McConkey, Sutton, and Myers. You're getting the best player in the deal. And I like Sutton as a buy low. Oh, trade Irving, McConkey, and Sutton. Oh, shit, I didn't read that right. Irving. No. I think I'm keeping Irving, McConkey, and Sutton. I'm keeping that just because Sutton is so much better than Wandale Robinson for the rest of the season. Oh, and you're trading Myers? No. Yeah, I like the first part. Irving, McConkey, Sutton, and Myers better. You're keeping that part. As a Pack fan, nothing is new with Aaron Jones injuries. Yeah, he has not played a full year. I think actually last year was his healthiest year with the Vikings. I think he missed one game or left one game early. So yeah, I'm not buying into Aaron Jones coming back and being anything relevant. I have zero. Actually, fuck, I have one share of Aaron Jones, maybe two, because it was like the 8th round and I needed a third running back. Pretty pissed about that one. I have more Mason than Jones though. My wife has like 4 Mason shares out of 11 leagues, and I drafted all of them. So I'm pissed that I got her more Mason than I have. So you think Hampton is cooked? No, but I think for the short term, you can't start him. And Najee Harris looks really good. And I don't know, Harbaugh, I can't believe we all got fooled by this. I didn't get fooled at all because I have 0 shares of Hampton in 25 leagues. 0. And not many in best ball because he was going too high for me. We got fooled by the fact that Jim Harbaugh does not like rookies. And I never heard anyone bring that up. And I didn't even bring it up. I just was like, the price isn't, I would have taken Hampton in the mid 4th, but he never made it out of the 3rd round. Harbaugh never likes rookies. And he's a guy that if you make one mistake, and he's made multiple mistakes, he ran in the first game, he ran out of bounds against the Chiefs at the end of the half. The Chiefs came down and got a field goal because of that. And didn't cost him the game. And then week 2, the fumble. And also a couple plays where he bounced outside and he just doesn't run. I don't know. He just doesn't look great. I'm sleeping on Waddle. I know. Here's the thing is Waddle's fine. He's good, but Theo Johnson is still going to have a bigger role than we think. There's other guys there. Maybe I'm wrong. I just, the numbers last week was like, I heard a stat that he's had one top 40 finish in fantasy in his whole career. And he had, what did he have? Was he number 3 wide receiver? He does get a lot of targets. Usually they're just low value targets, right? And here's the thing. Darius Slayton is also coming off an injury. He's playing 95% of the snaps. Darius Slayton has like 2 catches. Like there's going to be Darius Slayton games. Every game's a neighbor's game. I guess I just don't see the upside of him coming off a huge game. I get that. But what about Irving, Ladd, and Myers for Barkley and Njoku? I'm not doing that. I'm not trading Irving and Ladd. Don't trade low on Ladd right now. Ladd is the number 1 there. Don't get fooled the fact that you have Quentin Johnston and you have Keenan Allen dominating. Like, this is still Ladd. Ladd is still the alpha there. Like, I wasn't high on Ladd coming into the year. I have a couple shares, but I'm not worried about Ladd. I'm not trading Irving and Ladd. I'm not, personally. And Njoku's a nothing. And I love Barkley, but Silver Soul, how do we feel about Addison coming back next week for the Vikings? For fantasy, I think it's going to help the offense. I'm just not super bullish about starting Addison in fantasy until we see what's going on. We're going to see how Carson Wentz is this week, but not a super big fan of Addison. I think you could slot him in as a flex. I think he's a top 40 receiver. But we got to see it first. Well, I think they're going to go back to being more run heavy because last year, in terms of pass rate over expectation, the Chargers were dead last in the NFL. Dead fucking last. This year, they are first. So I think there was a chance that they said, at least early in the year, we're going to come out and do what no one expects. And look at them. They're 2-0. They're killing it. Now, they're not going to go back to dead last because this is working for them. But they're not going to stay at first pass rate over expectation. I expect them to settle in the top 12, maybe top 14 by the end of the year. So they're going to run more. That's partially why I'm not totally out on Hampton, because they're going to run the ball more. They're going to have better balance. I would have Nix, Henry, Barkley, Puka, Sutton, Laporta, Njoku. Well, you don't need Njoku at all. Get someone else instead of Njoku because you have Laporta. And then Njoku is an expiring asset. They're going to trade him or they're going to phase him out. Carson Wentz international tour coming next week in Ireland. Then they go to England. Oh, hell yeah. Sweet. I guess I did see that. Oh, Lion says start Pitts, Hunter, or Andrews at tight end. It's Andrews, man. It's still Andrews. I know you're not going to hear that anywhere else. Mark Andrews has 2 catches and 12 yards in 2 weeks, and they've put up fucking 70 points. That's not going to continue. Andrews had a bad drop in the end zone last week. He had 3 end zone targets. The other one was he had the ball in his hands, and it was a great play by the DB knocking it out. And then the other one was a bad throw by Lamar. So I'm still rocking with Andrews, man. Thank me when he has 3 catches for 50 yards and a tutty. That's minimum. I think he might have 2 touchdowns this game. Jared says Bills for tonight. Well, I mean, money line for sure. The The line is tough, man. I'm not going to bet on the line. I would bet on the Bills with the line, but it's a Thursday night game, a divisional matchup, a short week. Yeah, Harbaugh's, they're not good. Both Harbaughs are bad at challenging. They are bad. Bobo says, how do you feel about Keon Coleman over 41 receiving yards tonight? I do like that one. I think I like Shakir's more, but I like them both. I like Shakir's more because Shakir's at like 40. So we're going to go through and look at some of the lines. Let's do that. See what we like. I'll place my parlay after. We can kind of toss around some stuff. Yeah, unders do, but we're talking about receiving yards at 41.5. I like that one a lot. Let's go on DraftKings first and see what we have. Got a little bit more time here. I'll get a shower. Sanchez says, in one of my leagues, I have Kraft and Jawan. Should I keep Jawan for Fanning long term? I would. Oh, should I drop Jawan for Fanning? Yeah, dude. You have Kraft, so like Jawan there's no point in having a floor tight end. Fanning is the dude, and then when Fanning pops, you can just trade him or Kraft. Because you might be able to trade Kraft for a king's ransom here in a couple weeks. And Shakir had a shit game last week. He's had a shit start to the season. What did he have week 1? Like 3 for 50 or something? Boppo has James Cook over 68, Etienne over 5.5 reception, and Keon over 41.5. Yeah, I like that. Oh, Blake was talking about the under total. Yeah. That is 49.5. That's pretty high. And like that's really good for a blowout. So if the Bills blow them out, they're going to go super conservative in the second half, and that's not going to hit 50 points. I guess it's all about the over-under this game is how many points can the Dolphins score? Because the Bills are going to win the game straight up. So if the Dolphins can put up 21 points, I feel like it goes over. If they score 24, it's definitely going over. But there's a chance they score 10. And week 1, their only touchdown of the game came against the Colts. What was it, with like 3 minutes left in the game? So, and I don't think the Colts have a very good D. Yeah, Dolphins are at, that makes sense, 19.5 for team total. That makes sense. What's up, Choices? How you doing? Thoughts on Godwin when he comes back? You can't start him for a couple weeks. You got to see a couple things. You got to see what's his snap share going to be, and it's going to start lower than you think. And then where are they going to play him? Because if Ibuka is taking his slot role, I'm not going to like Chris Godwin because he didn't have the juice to play X receiver, outside receiver, even the Y spot like before injury. He definitely is not going to have the juice to play that now. He's traditionally a slot only player. And I think what I would predict is that him and Ibuka are going to split the slot, and Godwin's going to be more of a situational player where he's going to be 65, 70% of the snaps. I think Ibuka is still an every down player. And obviously Mike Evans is an every down player. So we got to see how the usage is, but it's looking promising because like it was looking like he might not come back to week 7, week 8, like when draft season happened. So it is looking promising based on where you drafted him. Like I feel like he's going to be a value. I personally don't know how much I'm going to trust Godwin just because of the injury and the role. And how does he look? There's 3 variables there, which all could go bad. Now they could all go good, and Chris Godwin's a every week wide receiver 3. El Pollo, are we selling Tyreek? Someone offered me Mason and either Scatabo, Olave, Devonta Smith for Tyreek and Krosky Merritt. The problem is you got to trade Krosky Merritt there, who is an ascending player with that situation. So I love Mason. So it would be Mason. Try to keep Krosky Merritt if you could. If you could just make it Tyreek for Mason and Olave, or actually no, Mason and Devonta Smith. If you could do Mason and Devonta Smith for Tyreek, I'd do that right now. I kind of want to keep Krosky Merritt. I thought about somebody. Vegas tends to play these games when a game like the Buffalo Dolphins is being played. For the fact 86% of the money is on Buffalo. So you're saying you think you want to bet the Miami with the points? Yeah, usually don't foul. Like go the opposite of the grain. When all the money's on one team, that means that Vegas is smart. Coleman worth flexing tonight. Yeah, he is. I mean, if you have better options, Like, I'd still start Chris Olave over Coleman, like that range of receivers. Like, I start Ridley over Coleman. But if it's like a Troy Franklin or Quentin Johnston or Keenan Allen, I think I want Coleman. Yeah, you want to hold on to Bill. I just think you don't want to sell him now, because if you wait a couple weeks, you could sell him for a lot higher. That's a pretty like high number. 86% of the money on Buffalo is a high number. So that's scary, because they're usually not getting cleaned out very often. So I think maybe the Dolphins right now it's plus 12.5, man. That's a lot of points for an NFL team. And Dolphins can put up points. Like, I know it's inconsistent. They can also throw a bunch of picks, but short week that's a lot of points to give up on a short week too. We're gonna look at some of the props here. So we have Tua over 238, Josh Allen over 235. I think I like that Tua over 238. What do you guys think? I think that's a good one. I don't know about Josh Allen over 235. That's a big number for him when he's going to have some rushing yards too. In terms of receiving props, we'll go to receiving over under. Receptions, A-Chain, 5.5 receptions. Shakir's 4.5 with some plus money on that. Where's receiving yards? There it is. Waddle, 50.5. Tyreek, 65.5. Coleman's up to 45.5. Shakir's at 42. I like that. My RB2 is Henderson, Pacheco. Should I trade Bowers, Tet, and Henderson for Bucky and London? So who's your backup tight end? I think Strange is the best in the wire. Well, then you're going to be playing the streaming game at tight end. So I wouldn't do that, man. I see why you would, but Tet is ascending right now, and he's one big game away from having even crazier trade value because he has looked good. And he's the number one. He's the only one there in Carolina. I like the idea of trading Bowers right now. So I think you need to try to maybe do a different trade with a different team. And I would just try to trade Bowers straight up for try to get like, man, that's so tough. I just don't know if I want to go roll with Brenton Strange the rest of the year as your tight end. That's my thing. But you need a running back for sure. And you're getting buy lows on Bucky and London. Man, maybe you do that trade. If you're comfortable playing the tight end waiver wire spot, but you're getting a running back 1 and a wide receiver 1. I still think London's a wide receiver 1. I got to look into this game more before I make a bet, though, just because these props are really wacky with this line. I think for sure I'm going Shakir over yards. That's for sure. I think I want to go, Ray Davis over 23.5. Okay, Shakir over 43.5. And then I think I want to go over Tua's yards. Maybe you can go the alternate line to make it 200 yards. I like that one. Maybe an alternate under, like under 54.5. The Smitty says start 2 wide receivers, Sutton, Higgins, Myers, Olave. It's Sutton for sure. And if it's PPR, I'm going to go Sutton and Olave. Right now, I saw a graph. Olave is number 3 in expected fantasy points, 23 targets. But some bad throws from Rattler has derailed that. But Olave looks good, man. He's playing all the snaps. He's getting all the targets. So I like that one. I'm big into Olave still. I was offered Lamar and Harrison Jr. for Hubbard this morning. Yeah, you do that trade in a heartbeat. I don't care if you have to play the streaming RB2 game. Pick up Woody Marks or something. You're getting. I would do Harrison Jr. for Hubbard. Would definitely do Lamar for Hubbard. Oh, if you're getting Lamar and Harrison, you're doing that trade. So that's an easy one, man. Is it worth keeping Worthy or getting London on waivers? I mean, Drake London was dropped. Yes, I'd rather have Drake London than Xavier Worthy. That's a smash. Smitty start 2 Jennings, Nico, DK. It's Nico and DK. It's by a mile. Jennings is hurt right now, and he's producing, but Nico is a must start, and DK's fine. I'm rolling that for sure. Do I start Tyreek, Jacoby, or Devontae Adams? It's Devontae or Tyreek. It depends. If you want a player tonight, it's Tyreek's fine. I think I'd go Tyreek, man. Honestly, just they're gonna be throwing a lot. Still Tyreek Hill. Devontae Adams doesn't have the best matchup in the world, so I'm going Tyreek. It's scary. Like it's a more boomer bust play than Devontae Adams, but give me Tyreek. Josh Allen over 29.5 rush. That's super low. And, I love betting those quarterback rushing or overs. That's tempting. Maybe alt it lower, but he should get that. Generally in games where if they keep it close, Josh Allen will definitely hit that number. If it comes out and there's a blowout, Josh Allen isn't going to run as much. This is Jordan Mason plot. We're starting Jordan Mason over almost everyone this week, outside of the top 8 running backs and 10 receivers. McMillan or Kupp? This is McMillan. Tet McMillan, easy. Cooper Kupp, he gone. He had a good week last week, but Sam Darnold also had like 280 yards passing, which is not going to happen in this game. It's Tet by a mile. This is a good matchup for Tet as well. He's had a couple awesome circus catches that out of bounds that didn't count too, so his numbers should be better. He's going to catch a touchdown at one of these games. Tet by a mile. No problem, dude. What do we got? I got a couple more minutes here. If you guys could subscribe, I'd appreciate it. You get some notifications when we're going to go live. So Wilson, Adams, or Pickens. I still think Wilson, man. They're not going to be able to run the ball against Tampa Bay. Even if it's Tyrod Taylor, I think it's still Wilson. The most target potential of all those guys. James Cook over 1.5 receptions. That's tasty. I like that one. That's real low, man. He hasn't been quite getting a lot of receptions this year, but that is super low. No problemo, Nick.
Excuse me, sir. This is private property. What are you doing?
Just taking it all in.
You're staring at my daughter's bedroom.
She's really grown into her body. This is going to be a fun summer for her.
I'm back. All right. I think I got to go take a shower. So tonight's, all those bets that we threw out there, I like most of those. I'm just not that definitive on who I'm taking in terms of the game, the total, and then the props. But I do definitely love the Shakir over. I like Tua's passing yards over. Those two for sure. I'm going to build parlays on, I think. And then there's so many that Blake threw out that I like as well. I'm not going to try to put like more than 4 in any of these parlays just because the game is pretty uncertain. I'm leaning on the under, and then I'd probably take the Dolphins and the points, man. That might seem stupid, but again, I'm not merely a line guy. Any chance I get your thoughts? Of course you can. A real evil gopher. Hell yeah. Breece Hall versus Chase Brown in PPR rest of season. It's Chase Brown. It's not even close. No, people are panicking on Chase Brown. I think this might be a good thing for Chase Brown because they weren't utilizing him well. They're going to have to get back to a more conservative approach, even though Jake Browning's a gunslinger. Chase Brown has not been getting receptions out of the backfield. I think Browning is more likely to check the ball down than he's either like a deep ball guy or a check down guy. And Chase Brown is I still have Chase Brown ranked kind of where you drafted him. I'm not worried about Chase Brown whatsoever. So if you have Breece Hall and you could trade for Chase Brown, like easy smash, dude. It does seem like a trap game. You got the Bills riding off 2 highs, right? The week 1 comeback against the Ravens, super crazy comeback. And then week 2, it was just not even a game. So no problemo. Gopher. Thank you, my man. trade as Jamar and Brown for Hall and Lamb. Yeah, dude, you're getting Jamar and Chase Brown. I mean, I know it's because he's trying to get rid of players in the Bengals. One thing about the Bengals, they still have a top 5 worst defense in the NFL. So, yes, Joe Burrow hurts. It hurts not having Joe Burrow. I get that. But, like, Jamar Chase can be just fine, and Chase Brown's going to be just fine. I'm more worried about T. Higgins' stock than I am about Jamar and Chase Brown. And Lamb, I'd probably have Lamb ranked ahead of Jamar rest of the season now, but it's close. It's still Jamar Chase. And then Breece Hall versus Brown is not even close. Like, I would, if we redrafted right now with the Joe Burrow injury and with what's happened in New York, I think Breece Hall stays around where we drafted him, 4th round. Chase Brown is still a 3rd rounder. Maybe I still think 2nd rounder. So I'm taking that all day, dude. Like, there's just not a lot of worlds where he wins that trade. I mean, if the Bengals just become like the Giants, but they're not going to. Their defense still sucks. I still trust Browning because you think, dude, Browning went 4-3. So 2 years ago, when Joe Burrow had that hand or wrist injury, Browning went 4-3, and the offense hummed, dude. They hummed, and I'm not worried at all. Like, I'm not gonna say I want to start Jake Browning in fantasy necessarily. Like, I think he's a streamer, but in terms of keeping the other weapons afloat, and especially like the guys, Chase Brown, what I love is the snap share is awesome. It's what it was last year. You're getting 80% of the snaps, and you're only losing out on 3rd downs occasionally to Samaje Perine. So I'm all in still on Chase Brown. So I think Chase Brown's that's a good point, because I think Chase Brown's a good buy low target right now. You have people panicking, and I think you have to do it now, because when they come out this week and Chase Brown actually has his good game and the offense looks functional, you're not going to be able to buy low on Chase Brown anymore. Thank you, Gopher. Appreciate you. All right, that's got to be it for me. I am going to log off. If you guys have a couple more questions before I take off, I will answer them. Otherwise, late night tonight, I will be back for a recap show. We'll look ahead to week 3 on Sunday. We'll look at some more bets. My gambling show will be out tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central. That's on the actual channel. So if you sub, hit the bell, and you'll get that. You want to get those bets in right away. Saturday night, we have our gambling show. It's going to be a real late show because I'm going to be going out Saturday. But it'll be a late show. I'll make it happen. Ooh, let's look at this. Okay, good call, Blake. Long shot for first touchdown. I might have already bet one. Let's see. No, I did make an early bet for my picks, and they pulled it. It's Ladd McConkey was at 54.5 receiving yards against the Broncos. And he has like a biceps injury, I guess. It didn't happen in the game. I'm not worried about it. I assume that when they put that line back up, when he's a full go, it's going to be at 60 yards. So keep an eye on Ladd McConkey's, because I already put my big unit on that one of my big bets. But 54.5 seems fucking low for Ladd McConkey. Let's see. First TDs. First TD. Dawson Knox at 25-1. Wow, Malik Washington is 28-1. Oh, man, I don't like a lot of these at all. Maybe Shakir at 12-1. I think I like Shakir at 12-1. Keon Coleman's plus 950. So I think Shakir's the one. No touchdowns this year. Had 6 last year. I think it's Shakir. What are you guys' thoughts on Shakir 12-1? Kincaid's 14-1. I don't like that as much. I'd rather have Shakir at Shakir only 200 less. Shakir over Kincaid for sure. So that would be my play. Shakir 12-1. Appreciate all you guys in the chat. Blake, thank you so much. You're the shit. You're helping me with this chat too. I appreciate that. And something in the air from Malik Washington. Yeah, that's really high. And the thing is, there's still a chance that you get no Jaylen Waddle in this game, or you have a limited Jaylen Waddle. So, wow, what was that? Like 28-1? I guess the only problem is, what are the odds? What are the odds that they score first, right? 28-1 from Malik Washington. Yeah. That's something. All right. I am logging off, gentlemen. So again, tonight I will be on late night, like 11-ish, maybe a little later, 11:30. Get bank on that one. I won't ditch out like I did last night. Stay positive, love each other, be nice to each other, especially in the comment section. And let's watch some football this weekend.